Our beast.
Hello.
Back again.
Hello again.
And you haven't even got to press skip adverts, not with us. We don't subject you to that, do we?
That's it. Well, we're happy to be here again, and thanks for viewing. And what a great day we had on the 24th. And we're looking forward to the next one.
Shopping.
The next shopping expedition. Yeah. We'll have our bags ready. And
no longer we go around the shops.
yeah. I wanted to comment on this for a little while, but I let it slip. But I want to say how much the comment from Denise Dowen really made us laugh when she says, "You two are great together, the Starsky and Hutch of the apocalypse." Denise, you are too gracious. Thank you very
I'm going to jump out and slide out the comment, but I'll leave there. Yeah.
We love that comment. And, I mentioned before that on a previous one, in Trafalgar Square, somebody took me for, the man called David ICKE. And this time I got mistook for someone else. I'm marching along the road with Lee. And a chap came through, stood next to me, and he turned to me and he says, "Mark Winders." I looked at him and I said, "Sorry?" He says, "Are you Mark Windows?" I said, "No, do I look like him?" He says, "Yes, very much like him." "Well, everyone has a double. I do apologise. Sorry for that." I said, "No, it's all right." I said, "Does he talk on things like this?" "Yes, he's got a YouTube thing." I says, "Well, I'll check him out, and thanks for telling me." So I did, and there is a funny resemblance. I said, but I'm a little bit older and greyer, but yeah, the same structure of face, the sort of thin lips, big face, grey. Anyway, enough said. You can check it out yourself if there's any resemblance at all. It's in the eye of the beholder if they think somebody looks like that. Well, they sent me another one, didn't they? Not content of sending one for this, now they've sent another one through the post, even though I've blatantly told them I don't want it, and on the phone as well. But they persist, and So, any comments on that?
They've get up with me. I've had a couple, but then they've left it. But I don't want to seem belligerent to them, because I think sometimes you put yourself on a list and put a target onto yourself. So I've just basically ignored it, just pretend I've not received. I think that's the best way. Just treat it with the contempt that it deserves. That they're all in the bin now. As far as I'm concerned, I've received no communication.
Yeah, I dare say many of the people watching have experienced with relatives and people now pressure being put on them, trying to be controlled by other people to have this. And I think of a number of incidents. I can think of one person whose dad didn't want it, but he wasn't particularly somebody who's researched all this. He just didn't particularly want it, and he says, "Well, if I get it, I get it, and if I don't, I don't. I'm not wearing this, and I'm not having that." But with friends who invite him for dinner, "Unless you have this, you're not coming in the house," and he gives in and has it. Another person was fearful of going out the house, stayed in a lot, but people who would give the person lifts, "Well, you can't come in the car unless you have the..." And then other people I've heard of who was, you can't see the grandchildren unless you have the... And it goes on. And so the zombie people putting pressure upon truthers, or just people in general, to try to control them. They're doing it, but even on the coach going up to the march, we overheard the march round for the shopping.
Yes,
with the shopping bags. we could hear conversation of a particular person saying, well, if he's asleep and that, but he's good chap, but he doesn't understand.
Young woman opposite us, wasn't he?
And she was saying, but I draw the line, she says, if he has then that's the end of it. He's gone. And you see how they're trying to control us, and we're reacting, and in some cases trying to control them and laying the law down. It's really becoming quite strained.
Yeah, I agree. I'll back off a little bit. A number of reasons. For a year solid on Facebook, it become obsessional. Warning about what's happening. Why? Because I care, and I think people need to be warned. I proved in that supermarket when I had that yellow badge on with the German word Juda, Jew, and that woman serving me on the lottery day. I thought my name was Jewed, and I thought it was a nice yellow star, what the kids had made me to brighten me and my clothes up. When you're dealing with people who've got, and I'm not no historian, but I'm aware of a little bit of history and the what happened. But when people are entirely ignorant of it, and they just don't know, if you say to them, what was the Nuremberg rally? Don't know. Yeah. But was it sports cars going around a dirt track in a forest in the middle of the night with spotlights? If people are completely ignorant of it, you've got a duty, if you know and you can see parallels, to say that I've get up. Yeah. At this stage, if they ain't going to get it, I don't want to do this, I don't want to, but good luck to you. Yeah. Because I've done my best. I can't live my life here. I've tried to warn you. Yeah. And I've pretty much given it. I still post occasionally on it, but for the most part, I don't try and evangelise and try and influence. I just do it for me mates. If I see a smart meme I like, for my friends. But you won't change people's minds. And it comes back to, I made a bit of a stupid, I'm no comedian, that was obvious, but I made that stupid video the other night when I was in a shirt and tie, the biased broadcasting corporation. And this is part of the propaganda. What's been happening, it works, it's powerful, it works. People such as my mum and dad, and it's obvious because they're my mum and dad, I say this with no malice whatsoever, but they're locked into this idea that this corporation and others can only tell them the truth because that's what they do. They remember when Brian Hanrahan was on the deck of the aircraft carrier, counting the sea harriers off and counting them all back again. They'd never lie. They even remember, the programmes when during Churchill's cortege, when the dockers dropped the cranes down along the Thames, and this is how they view this corporation. Yeah. They're beyond reproach. Now we don't see it like that. We see it as the lawyers and manipulators, and they've got an agenda, and they'll come out with whatever they're paid to come out to say. This is not objective reporting, but it's extremely, massively influential and powerful.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's the people like us who pretty much, I get up on most television, as I keep saying a few years ago, because it's just dross. I do watch telly, I watched the car programmes, the Guy Martin aeroplane programme last weekend, I enjoyed, but I don't watch soaps, I don't watch the current affairs programmes, I don't watch the news. I don't watch all these populist programmes. I'm not locked into that life anymore. Like I used to be perhaps in my 20s when I used to be influenced. And that's a big step, breaking free. It's breaking free for me.
From the hold of all that. Yeah. It's a big thing.
So these people, I can understand, I don't agree with it, but I can understand why they're living in this illusion. Because the conditioning is so bloody powerful. And so I think we've kind of, in some ways, a lot of ways, broken free from being not influenced by it anymore. We don't care what the plot line.
Yeah, that's right.
In EastBenders is telling us, or Emmerdale or any of them, we're not interested. What's it to us?
And we're getting things through now, like oh, this thing in India, the fear. And I'm thinking, well, I've heard a few reports of people in India saying there's nothing going on at all. Yeah. There are restrictions. Now, what's going on here? I don't know what's going on here, but I know one thing.
I've heard there's water being cut off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's happened?
They've cut the waters off. I've heard, I don't know whether it's any truth in it or not, but I've heard there's some deaths simply because they've stopped supplying medical care, and they've cut the water off in certain provinces. I don't know. I'm not saying this is fact. I'm saying this is what I've heard. Open to
the thing is, I remember this all began with dead bodies in the streets in China. Now we're hitting summer in the UK, and they want to whip the fear up again because there's no cases. So let's have fear from somewhere else. Now I'm not saying I don't know what's happening there. I'm concerned enough with what's going on in this country, to be honest with you. And if the bodies on the streets in India, there's bodies on the streets in India, but where's next? I mean, moving on just slightly, let's move to the Philippines. There's a chap who I work with who married a Filipino lady in February of 20. And they're still not together because of this evil. She's still in the Philippines, he's still in the UK. He's been trying to get her over here through every means under the sun. He's paid a lot of money out. And with all the things that have happened, it's not been able to happen. And the Home Office and all these different things. The last few weeks, he's been 9 to 5 for 3 days, filling out these forms again and handing over another $3,000 to them. And now he's got, I think, 12 weeks visa or something for her to get her over here. And we'll see how that one goes. But it's been a long time, over a year, well over a year of their marriage gone because of this. This is how people are suffering. And then speaking of, I have to mention people that struggle to believe that there are conspiracies in the world and sling the thing, oh, conspiracy theorists in our faces. Well, let's just examine what was on the news a few weeks back, that you had 12 owners of top football clubs, 6 in the England and 6 in Europe, the Real Madrids, Barcelonas, etc. And the big clubs, so-called big clubs, some of them are, some are a bit living on the past laurels. For 3 years, according to the words of the Real Madrid owner, for 3 years they were meeting in secret behind closed doors to plot a conspiracy to break away from their respective leagues. Now you tell me there's no conspiracies going on. You only need 2 for a conspiracy. This had 12 of them plotting for 3 years. And they'll still be plotting now, even as we speak. I'm sure they'll try to make it more palatable and learn where they went wrong. But worthy to be mentioned, that one, because people who don't particularly like sport may have missed that one.
Oh, mystics, I'm not into football.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah.
Important
worth thinking
on.
on.
It's a valid point as well.
Yeah, throw that back at them. When anyone calls you a conspiracy theorist, ask them to reflect on it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Other news.
News.
Very quickly. Cut a long story short, I've heard from Dean that phone, if his son got to him, he finally answered, and I spoke to him. I'm going to have a good. I haven't got time today. I've been doing other things, but I'm going to have a good 3-hour talk with him tomorrow, as we usually do.
Yeah, good.
Like, well, we used to do. But he seemed mildly confused. But he was coherent and rational. He's in, I don't know whether I can mention these places, but he's in
a place for
that in Wolverhampton, and the initials of this particular place is NH, and you'd usually expect older people to be there, if you see what I mean. But he's younger than me, and he was telling me about his time in the newsagents. And you know which one I'm talking about, and I ain't going to mention it for obvious and legal reasons. But again, the guy, he seemed fairly coherent to me. He says, Lee, he says, I was trying to kill me, mate. He says, I went in there, 13 stone. He says, I weigh 8 stone now. He says, this place, He says, damn, he says, I can't eat enough. They're feeding me up. He says, they put DNR on his stuff. He says, they don't bother with him. He was stuck on his own in again, I can't say the word, but it's a room that begins with W where you've got beds. He says there was some right poor souls in there, so they belong there. He says, I believe I was just dumped there and left to snuffy. And through a convoluted way, he's ended up going to this place in Wolverhampton. So, but I'll find out more tomorrow, but at least he's safe. Because like I say, I hadn't heard from him. I'd sent him cards to the W room where he was, stamped addressed envelopes, so that all he had to do was write on it, I'm okay. Give it to the newsagents and says, here, love, stick that in the post box on your way home. But nothing. And I said, did you get these? And he says, no. So when he was in there, when I sent, they weren't passing these on to him. Absolutely disgraceful and deplorable. Yeah. But I'm not going to say any more than that, because the censors probably won't like me chastising this glorious institution that's been the shining light of British society since 1947. So I'll keep my trap shut. But Dean ain't happy at all. But I'll find out more tomorrow when I'll give him a tinkle. I'm going to go for a drive out tomorrow. It's bank holiday Monday. I've got a day off. Yeah. So, but I'll park up somewhere and sit on a bench and have a chat with the bloke.
And just to finish with, any thoughts on the previous topic that I've just spoke on are we POWs? Any particular point? Well, any thoughts on anything?
I didn't know what Marty was going to talk about today. I just rocked up like an hour ago, and he come with this idea. And yes, in some ways we are PLWs, but another way of looking at it, and it's a bit melodramatic, and it's not entirely true, but bear with me. I think in some ways we're the Mackie, we're resistance fighters. We ain't going along with this. You're Vichy. And we ain't going to go along with you. Yeah, we're going to have to go and live in the woods. It's that kind of situation for me. Maybe we're going to be more like POWs if this goes to where they want it to. Yeah. Which I'm not entirely convinced yet that it will, but they'll do the best. We might end up with our necks stretched, or as a political prisoner in a cell at some point. But for the time being now, I think we're resistance, rebellious in a way. It's a kind of a sweet-natured rebellion. And this is another problem with the shopping expedition on last Saturday and the one coming up. Great, but as I said in my previous videos, I think it achieves nothing in some ways, because it's peaceful. These are amiable, pleasant, nice people. They blow the whistles, they bang the drums, they wave the sage sticks, they put the fancy dress on, have a bit of a party. It's a carnival. Everybody's all loved up, right? So what do the politicians do? They laugh at them, right? If there was a million, right, with pitchforks.
Oh yeah.
Okay, then it'd be a different matter. But these are not the kind of people they am. So it's a proper rebellion as such, but it's a turning of the tide. Yeah. Turning of the tide. So I see us more of a resistance. You've took over. You're pushing this through. We don't agree with it, and we're going to dig our heels in, and you're going to outlaw us. We're going to be Robin Hoods and Violet Zarbos at some point.
A quote has come to me. I can't think of the person who actually said it, but he said, to be in prison is the only honourable place to be with a regime like this. In other words, it's the honourable, good people are the ones who are incarcerated when you've got evil regimes.
That's right.
And with that,
God bless.
God bless.
God bless.
God bless.